So a while ago, I shot this interview, and shortly after it was finished, Charlie Kirk got killed. And at the time, everybody was talking about that, and the online was like so political. I finished this interview, and I thought, like the last thing the internet needs right now is another man with a mic. Like, who cares about talking about artists or photography? And a couple months later, I've been sitting on this interview, and I'm thinking, okay, like when should I drop this? So I don't think there is a perfect time to talk about art. There will always be things going on in the world. There will always be some American president wreaking havoc on the planet. It will always, it will, until the end of time, until the end of this country, there will always be some fuck shit happening with this imperialist government. So while I still do have a voice before Palantir gets me, I'm going to talk about what I love. I'm going to talk about art. I'm going to talk to people that also love art. And I'm going to post it online. All right, so we're here with Val and Yungatita
What's up?
on Zoom because she's in LA and I'm in San Diego right now.
Oh,
Pero
mhm,
so I feel like a lot of interviews I hear with artists are either like, like they're like at the pinnacle of someone's career, like like you've made it, you know,
mhm,
um, or it's like the very beginning. It's like a band just starting out. Like, who are you? Why should we care? I
mhm.
definitely wanted to talk about the more like human parts of just like being in a band. So
Yeah.
I can speak for myself by saying at times, I'm insecure about other photographers and where they're at in their career relative to their experience or connections. I think it's only human. There's bands that blow up in just a quarter of a year, and there's a band like Turnstile, who's been together since 2012, and
Hmm.
they're just now approaching that peak. I
Hmm.
work with another band that has five members, and that's a lot. And I
Yeah.
feel the stress it places on each member to quote unquote make it. Aside
Hmm.
from your most popular song, you still have millions of streams. Your live shows have crazy energy. Every
Hmm.
show's yours. There's people pulling up for merch. Like, what is your idea of making it, and do you think you have?
Yeah, okay, I will say, I think that there's a lot of perspectives to come through it, or that a lot of perspectives to look through, I guess. But I honestly think like the way I would describe like success with a band is if you're able to make somewhat of a livable income uh doing like what you love. But the thing is, I don't think we're 100% there yet. I might be there just because like that viral song that I had, but like as a band collectively, I think like it's still a lot of grinding before we could actually get to like a level of success. As a the I guess the term like to make it, I don't know. I don't know what it means other than what I just described. Like, I don't know what it would mean to make it. Would it mean to like, we got a billboard in Times Square or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people would say, oh, you made it with your viral song, right? But I don't. I mean, I still live with my dad.
Real.
Like I'm still here at home. Like, right, I'm at home right now. Like, I was gonna do this at the studio, but I'm just here at home because I'm a little sick. But yeah, so like I don't know. To me, I think it depends on how you look at it. I think you could make it in for me, I've made it to an extent, right? Because I had a song that everybody related to and it went completely viral. And I would have never in a million years, if you would have told me that years before I wrote the song when I was like a little kid or whatever, I would have never in a million years thought that that would ever be possible. So in that case, it's like that's off the bucket list. Like that is something that a lot of people will never get to experience in their lives. And it almost doesn't matter the, I guess, like the financial or fame or whatever, because it didn't necessarily make me famous or nothing,
Mhm.
but it was just like the idea of like, wow, a lot of people really did actually relate to this, and it made an impact in people's lives that I would have never imagined. And for me, that's like sufficient enough for like, wow, well, that is something that most people won't experience, and or a lot of people won't experience in their lives. And I got to experience that with other people. So millions of people. So I think that that's kind of like a making it, term. But I think a lot of people would say, oh no, you're making it if you're playing like huge festivals and you're on lineups with like these huge bands and stuff. And I think that's also valid too. I think it really just depends on how you look at it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really agree with that. I feel like just even at times like pursuing your art, if it's even if it's not at the highest level, just being able to,
Hmm.
that's
Yeah,
like privilege.
that's another thing too, is that I think a lot of people, yeah, they put like this weird standard of like what it means to make it. But honestly, if you could, even packing out a small DIY venue and everybody singing your songs back to you, and yeah, maybe you're not doing numbers online or anything. Not that that matters, but like maybe you're not doing numbers online, but you got your hometown here like screaming the lyrics back to you. I mean, that's pretty insane. Like that gets me emotional. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think that that is something that people just overlook sometimes too, and but it's actually truly really special, like to be able to connect with people, like with any amount of people, you know what I mean, big or small, you know.
Right. So speaking of
Yeah.
privilege, like I'm privileged enough to work with and around a bunch of great musicians such as yourself, and like a Venn diagram, right? Like the overlapping middle part.
Yeah.
Um, I hang around with you guys like in the fun part, like the happy part, like the shows, but I'm not really there for the band practices. Maybe the nights where you leave a practice and you're not super happy about what you worked on, loading gear everywhere, stressing with managers, booking shows, all that. Like from what I've seen, working with bands, like about 15% of the time that like you dedicate is like, like actually fun and like really worthwhile.
Yeah.
Um, So you spend all this time on this idea, this band, and it's like super stressful, like most of it. Like what for you keeps you believing in this idea that is Yungatita or even just making music?
You know what? I think making music is something I will never be able to stop doing. I think it's one of those things where no matter whether we make it huge as a band or I'm just making stuff here at home, like, just for myself, or like earlier I was doodling on a Beatles song, you know what I mean, on the piano. It's like it's just something that I don't think I'll ever be able to not do, you know what I mean? And maybe there'll be time lapses where I won't touch the piano for a while, or like a guitar or whatever. But it always comes back. Like that, it's just always something that has been part of my life, and almost like ingrained in me. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people who love music, that get into music, are on that same page. Um, and but there is a lot of like discourage. I think honestly, everything that comes with making music discourages you from making music. That's like the craziest part. Like I felt the most free when I didn't have a band, when I didn't have shows to like prepare for, when I didn't have a management, when I didn't have like, you know, oh yeah, you have to make this many sales, pre-sales, you know what I mean? Like to sell online. It's like, or yeah, driving on tour, like, oh, you drive like 8 hours, in a day, right? And just to play a 30-minute set at some city that you've never been before. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of stuff where it's like, man, this is exhausting. It's tiring. And that's not even the interpersonal relationships that comes with being in a band. So it's like all of these even physical laborious things that you go through just to do, like how you're saying, like the 30 minutes of the fun part, right?
Mhm.
But I will say, like kind of like what I was saying before, there is nothing better than like being able to connect with people with music. I think that's like, they say it's like the universal language. And when you're able to do that successfully, when people like understand where you're coming from musically, and like, you kind of just click with random people you don't know that you've never played in front of before and stuff, there is nothing better than that feeling. And I think it makes it kind of all worth it. But I think it also, for me personally, I don't know how other people feel, but when I get on a stage, or even when I just pick up my guitar here at home, um, there's a sense of release that comes with it. For me, it's like really healing, and like I could find my footing, and it's really grounding when it comes to playing music. So I think that's like another huge thing, that it's like, well, because it's like that source of like grounding for me, I won't ever let that go. I won't ever stop doing it. And in the same way with like playing shows and stuff like that, it's like that feeling of like connecting with people. It brings you back into like the world. Like you are part of this world and other people are part of it with you. And like with music, that's where you experience it like kind of the best. You know what I mean? And even at practice and stuff, jamming with each other and like coming up with something cool, that's like an experience like you can't really experience that in other forms of art. I mean, I guess you can, but like there's just a really special feeling when it comes to music, and it's very humanizing, I guess you would say. So yeah, I think that's it makes everything else like worth it, even though yeah, all the other noise that comes with having a band and stuff could be discouraging in making music. Like at the end of the day, once enough time has gone by and you're like, okay, actually, I'm gonna sit down with my guitar and just jam for a little bit. Or, oh, you know what? We haven't jammed in a while. Like, let me hit up the homies and see what they're up to. You know what I mean? And then it just goes right back to like, well, here I am with a new band. You know what I mean? Or like, here we are practicing again. Or like, even though this tour was so gruesome or whatever, it's like here we are booking another tour. You know what I mean? Like it always ends up coming back. So I think that's like yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I'm kind of tangenting, but I hope that answers the question.
No, yeah, I think the biggest takeaway is just like community. Like a lot of people, even like fans, just like they really appreciate community, especially in like country. Like I feel like a solace is this like finding somewhere where you can relate with people
Hmm.
physically, and even like over long distances. Like I know there's someone else in Colorado who might be a fan of Turnstile
Hmm.
or Hampshire. Like we all have that thing in common, that idea
Hmm.
that someone created in like a garage or something. And I think that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, I think not to cut you off or
No,
anything.
no, go ahead. I just got
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing is that it ties people like whatever somebody is feeling, another person relates to it or likes it because they're validated in feeling like, oh, I thought I was the only one feeling this. But with music, it's like you could literally bridge that gap so easily. And I think that's what makes it truly special and probably a reason why I will never stop either playing music, making music, or like at least like listening, being like an avid listener to like all types of music. You know what I mean? So yeah.
same. So a little pivot. The merch that you have, like the art for it, like you make it, right? Like the cover and
Mhm.
the merch art. Like what helped you inspire that? Whether like it's TV shows or other artists that you've seen.
Yeah, okay. So, oh man, I'm inspired by so many things. But yes, cartoons is probably when I sit back and think like what actually inspired me to like draw, like even when I was a little kid. Cartoons were like that I was so excited about cartoons all the time, especially like early like kind of like anime ones, or not early anime, but like when I was younger. So
Like
like
Invader Zim.
Pokemon. Yeah, Pokemon, Digimon, they're like the American, they have like they're kind of like American, but like anime still. Um well, they're Japanese, but you know what I mean. Like they were popular here in the United States, and like I would go home and I would do my homework as quick as I could, and I would sit in front of the TV and like try to copy exactly like how to draw every character. And then this ranges from like the Powerpuff Girls to like yeah, like Digimon, Pokemon to Spider-Man and like Courage the Cowardly Dog, like stuff like that. Like I would just try to recreate these cartoons like detail by detail, and that's how I kind of got good at drawing. And then I had a I had a lot of like, well, there was like a lot of like films like Studio Ghibli. There's this movie called Tech on Concrete that I love, and I love that style so much. It's very freeing and very fluid is the way I could describe it. And kind of once I saw like those types of like styled like animated movies, I was like, oh, okay, like I want to draw stuff like this. And I think the best outlet for me to do that with sometimes is through my music. You know what I mean? Like I was able to basically put a like a character or like an idea on paper for like some music that I was imagining. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, I mean I'm inspired by all sorts of like Our Real Monsters and Rocco's Modern Life and all Rugrats. I love like all those cartoons. And
I could see
yeah,
Rugrats. I could see
yeah,
how that plays into
I love like Rugrats, and then there was like, oh, what was the other one with the girl who could talk to animals? What's her name? I forgot what her name is.
I don't know, I got grounded a lot. I got the TV
Oh
taken
my
away
goodness.
from
No,
me.
I all I did was watch cartoons when I was a kid. I just finished watching Invader Zim recently. Like I
Yeah.
watched it over. That was another one that I was like obsessed with Invader Zim. But yeah, so that was like inspiring to me. And then I also have there's a lot of bands that I love that they did like their own artwork. And when I found out that they did their own artwork, I was like,
Let me
I
tap
wanted
in.
Yeah, one in particular is Japanther, this band called Japanther. One of the guys, he does like tattoos and all that. He has like his own little characters. And oh my God, I was like upset. And they would do like sticker swaps like at shows. And whenever they would come here to LA, like they would, yeah, they would do like a sticker swap. And I was obsessed. Like I would go and I would want to get all the stickers and see the doodles and stuff like that. And I think that was like, bands like that would just kind of make their own artwork. I was just like, oh, like I don't know. It's cool. It's cool to like make a whole little universe out of ideas that you have. You know what I mean? Like I think I don't do it to be like show offy or anything like that. I just like I'm like, oh, I have an idea for this song that we wrote and I want to put the little character to it or like I want to draw the thing for it. You know what I mean? So also I just love drawing. Like drawing is just like so much fun. I've been drawing since I was like I think 2 years old is when they said I picked up a pencil. So
Yeah, that's great. You'll get a solid stick figure out of me. That's it.
yeah, oh no.
I don't got
Honestly,
nothing
I
crazy.
used to draw stick figures all the time, and it does help with like movement and like kind of like showing like envisioning like how something would move, right? It actually is very helpful, like to draw stick figures.
Mhm.
So that's a good thing.
So me and you met on the Sad Park tour. Um,
Mhm.
Ophelia was the one who hired me, and I think she said like we just need a last minute photo guy. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, like I'm down. Um, Touring, in my opinion, is the pinnacle of working in the music industry. For you, it would be playing or headlining a tour. For me, it would just be getting brought on the tour.
Mhm.
I know you guys have been a band for a long time. Like since we met almost a year ago, you've been on other tours, and I think you have one more this year.
Yeah.
Help explain touring like off stage, like how we were talking about earlier, like the merch, like carrying the merch. I remember like helping you guys carry like this like big mountain of merch boxes, like
Yeah.
but then also, like being apart from your family and loved ones.
Hmm. Yeah, so touring is kind of crazy. Like I, how would I even describe tour? I love touring. I love being on the road. I love being away from home and not in a bad way. Like I love being home too, but there's something about just being free. I don't know. There's like, obviously you have to like make it on time to like, sound checks and stuff like that. But I love seeing the world from like a perspective that not a lot of people could like see it. Like, I feel very privileged in that way. Um, but tour is also very grueling and it kind of sucks sometimes because you really are just stuck in a van with like a bunch of other people for hours and hours and hours. And when you really add it all up, like you're in there for like weeks with people, you know what I mean? And you only really leave the van to sleep or to play the show, right? So
Or depending on the band, pissing every 30 minutes at every gas station.
yeah, basically, yeah. So luckily like our tours, okay, I come from like a luckily because I do have that viral song. So like luckily I could be financially stable with my band and get them to a room every night so that they could shower. And so we're pretty like comfortable. Thank goodness. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's basically where it really comes down to it is all like okay like a lot of people that go on tours they're struggling because it's really freaking expensive like that's one thing that I will say is that it's really expensive to be on a tour and for a lot of bands that don't have that financial stability it's like it's it could kind of like make or break a band at times because it gets really stressful too so like you're dealing with people's personalities and stuff over the course of like months or weeks or months and if if money gets tight or whatever and you got to sleep in the van because like we've had to do that kind of stuff before too
Mhm.
so like you got to sleep in the van and all that and like people are fighting and it's it could get pretty damn rough but I think overall like it's definitely an experience that like there's a lot of work that goes into it too so it's like when you're on the road it's not just fun and games like I was saying I kind of hate to refer to us like this but I kind of was proud of it for a moment is like once we're like a certain amount of time in a tour, we're like a well-oiled machine. You know what I mean? So it's like we get to the venue, it's like we all get off, like we unload the stuff in like like, we all have our like place, right? Ophelia goes and checks in, and like I go get ready, and then like we like organize like the merch and stuff. We put it all together, and like there's like a pattern to it every night. and eventually becomes like kind of second nature, and you just get like really good at it. And I love when that happens because everything's kind of just like muscle memory, and you can focus more on like the actual show, like the performance, rather than all the noise like behind it. So I actually love reaching to that point because it just means we're like super locked in, you know what I mean? And it is a fun feeling. But yeah, it is a grueling process, but I love touring. Touring is so awesome. You could see I mean, you get to see and meet so many people, and so many, you get to be in different places. Like when we have a day off and we could, I don't know, go to like a river or like roll around in a park, you know what I mean? Like that's like nothing beats that. That's like so much fun. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I fucks with tour. I think tour is cool.
Yeah, I love tour. I wish I had a long tour. I think the longest one I've been on was like a week and a half. So
Yeah.
we did not enter flow state at all.
Okay. No, honestly, dude, yeah, you should definitely try to hop on like a tour that kind of is longer. Like I said, it is grueling. Like you do, people butt heads,
I'm just
like
the camera dude. I'm in the back. I got my photos.
dude, trust me, like once what like when you're in there and like it'll the shit happens, bro. Like
Oh,
it's
I've seen
crazy
it.
because you
Yeah.
think, oh, I would never have it out with these people. And then like, you're a month
You
in and
spent 2 days with them. Uh-oh.
wait, what? Yeah. No, yeah, it gets bad. So like, but no, usually like if everybody just understands that we're all in this together, we got to make it through together, then usually it ends up coming back. Also too, I've never like come back from a tour and been like, oh no, like fuck you or whatever. It's always been pretty like generally like I get it, like things have been rough, like I'm not gonna hold anything against anybody, right? So but yeah.
Yeah, I wish I met more people like that on tour. I saw this Zane Lowe interview with Turnstile, and he asked him something along the lines of, I think you I think wait, let me hold on. I got this written
No,
down.
you're
Um he told like the one of the dudes in Turnstile, he goes, I think you guys have finally hit that point of like we're safe. Like you don't have to stress about where the money's coming from. And that really hit me because like I'm definitely not there. I see
yeah.
dozens of bands where the idea of security is always under attack and a lot can't take it. Like people drop or they even just switch bands, which I've seen and it's really weird. Or even they just quit music entirely. And I don't know if you still feel like that, but like what is your experience as someone in a band battling with that lack of security, either starting out or even now?
Yeah, okay. So that's a really, at least, how like I was saying earlier that a lot of things that come with the band is what discourages you from continuing your band or music or project, whatever. That's so true because like I've been privileged, like I said, like, we had that viral hit, so it sustains us, you know what I mean? But also too, I come from a freelance background, like me and my dad, like we both freelance, like we don't work for anybody. I did used to work, like obviously I've worked jobs and stuff in my life, but lately or not even lately, just in the past 10 years, I've been basically freelance. Like I just pick up gigs where I go, and it's allowed me time to like focus on my music and all of that. But obviously there's some things I sacrifice, which is like having my own place, or you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff. But so the way I look at it is kind of like if I have no money again tomorrow, like I'm in the same spot I was before when I started, and I'm just like I'll hustle and get a gig. Like I personally I like to live that life. It's stressful, but at the same time, like I said, it comes with some pros of like being able to do things on my own time.
No
And
boss
it's
telling you
not,
what you can't do.
yeah, it's not for everyone either. Like, there's a lot of people who like need to have like a stable like 9 to 5, and eventually I might actually even have to get a job again too. And I'm not. I'm like I'm down for that because you know what, having like a regular job, and I've read that people kind of agree with this. I've thought of it, and then I read somebody that said like basically the same thing. But it's like having a job puts you in the world like for realsies, and when you're not really working and just focusing on music, you're kind of like in a bubble, and because of that, you're not exposed to just real life shit like working with a shitty coworker, or having like an annoying boss, or even having to like going out to a party and then having to get up at like 7 in the morning, or never even, you know what I mean, like never even go home and you just go straight to work. And people forget that those like interactions or experiences that you have in life is what inspires people to even make music in the first place, or art in general. And so I think that there's nothing, yeah, for me, like people working to sustain their hobby of music and also their career in music, like I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that that could be beneficial to the art that's being made. You know what I mean? Um, you know, if people could go and like not work, I mean, that's cool too, you know, like fuck capitalism, you know. But you know, having a cool little job or whatever to sustain like your music and your art and stuff, like that's like normal and it should be, you know, it should be in practice, I guess you would say, right? Um, uh, I think that I think that there's a lot of people like that, you know, will do have like a teacher job and stuff like so in the summers, like they have it off and they could focus like on the music and the same time they're teaching their kids and like the kids are like yeah rock and roll, you know, like they have cool relationships. Like I think just stuff like that is cool. Like we definitely need more teachers. We definitely need more electricians, like, and that doesn't mean that just because you make music you can't do those things also, right? So that's kind of how I look at it. But as somebody though who like is kind of like a freelancer, I'm kind of just like I just hustle for money. Like I find whatever gig that is going to pay and I try to go do the gig, you know. But a lot of people, you know, they can't keep up with that. It is very stressful, and like sometimes you end up being broke. Because for me, I would be broke for like 3 months, like just super down bad, and then like I think, damn, that's it. Like I can't pay my bills. Like I can't even put gas in my car. And then next thing you know, somebody hits you up like, hey, we need a sign painted. It's gonna be this big, and so it's gonna pay this much money. And I'm like, I'm there. You know what I mean? And then I'm set for like another like 2 months, right?
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I live my life. So I can't say for sure like for people that struggle, it's like right now things are really hard in general. I think yeah, stuff just sucks right now. People can't even find jobs, you know? Um, but I think that I think that I don't know. I think that it goes hand in hand. Working and doing music and art, like that, you know, that's like the working class. Like that's where the best art comes from. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's like a weird thing to say, but
No, yeah, I agree. I
yeah.
Not everybody has it as easy.
Yeah.
Everybody can just like go full time. But
Yeah.
every band faces creative differences. How do you whether it's who plays what or what gets to stay in the song, being in this band as long as you have, how do you keep everyone happy, seen and heard? Because I feel like it would be any front person's responsibility to kind of keep that peace.
Yeah, I think so for me like this project is like it's technically like my project. I started it by myself. I wrote the music by myself, like, you know, the first like I don't know how many songs. And I think starting a band with people, I think automatically they kind of know that there's like a filter at least of like it has to go through me for it to like be a thing. And but not in a way of like, you know, I'm definitely not controlling everything. I love when people bring their ideas to the table. You know what I mean? Like I love collaborating and stuff. So I think everybody that I jam with right now, everyone that's in the band, they have that understanding. And also, I think for me, I even though I not that it cheapens music at all, but I think that sometimes people are afraid to talk about who gets credited on what. And like when you're talking about royalties and yeah, publishing rights and all of that. And I think that people should be more, you know, more open about it because that's when a lot of people start to feel, you know, screwed over. When they had a part of a song and they help with the writing or they performed on it. There's like a lot of little details that I won't get into, but they like performed on it and they get no credits. And meanwhile, like the front person or the person that's getting all the attention, it's like they're making all the money off of something that they collaborated with like their bandmates, you know? And I think for me, I'm very open about all of that. And I'll literally go to my bandmates and I'll be like, yo, okay, you helped me write the song. Like, what do you want? Like, let's talk about the splits and all that. Let's see, what do you feel comfortable with? Like, what are you, you know, or so and so they wrote this part. So is this like the fact that we split it all even, or do you want more of a percentage, or what do you think is like, you know, like is fair? And a lot of the times, especially because like the guys in like, especially the guys in my band, like they're really level-headed, and you know, they're just like down and then also open about talking about this stuff too. Yeah, it's like they're like, okay, like, you know, this sounds fair. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool, let's do that. You know what I mean? And then there's other songs too that like you know, there's other songs where it's like I just write them on my own. You know what I mean? It's always it's kind of a give or take type of thing. But I think that that's kind of like the main thing of like keeping somebody happy is like if somebody had something to do with it, you have to give them their credit. And then when it comes to like the creative part of it, um I don't really shoot anything down unless it's really bad. So it's like if somebody wants to do a sick ass solo, and I will fuck with that solo. Like unless it's like like I'm like, bro, that is the corniest shit I ever heard. Like unless it's
You'll say
like that,
that?
but no, I've never said that. I think the only times that I've like kind of done that is so you know David, my bass player,
Mhm.
he's an excellent bass player, the best I've ever known probably. And there'll be times like in a song where he's like kind of going off on a part and I'm like, okay, wait, in this part it's kind of supposed to be more chill, so maybe you just tone it down a little, you know, but just
Mhm.
for this part, after that you could go off, you know what I mean? And that's like as basically like as far as it ever has gone. Sorry, I'm like choking.
You're good.
But anyways, yeah, so um and I think like generally you let people do their thing as long as it sounds good. I don't know. I like that. I like to collaborate with people. So who am I to say what they should and shouldn't do on a song? You know what I mean? So and if it sounds sick, which it always does because I have talented musicians in my band, then I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna be like, yo, that sounds sick. Like that's fucking sick, bro. So yeah.
Or you hear something, no, you know what, band practice over, bro. That's we're moving on. But
I know,
speaking
right?
on collaborating, not every collaboration is with maybe a musician. It could be with another type of artist, like a photographer. So being in a band, like how do you approach working with media people? Like how do you choose like who to work with? Like to my knowledge, you don't have like a guy that does all your
No.
content, but tons of people I'm sure offer their services and try to cover your shows. How do you decide who you work with?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people hit me up just in the DMs even. And I don't know. I kind of just like I don't know. It's like a hard one too because it is kind of based on vibes. Like if somebody is fun and kind of like interactive with us, that's who I like to work with. I as much as like I don't want to like be talking shit or nothing, but like you know, there's a lot of people that are like you know not necessarily shy, but they're kind of standoffish and they're just like we're gonna just take your picture. You know what I mean? I'm like I don't really like that. I'd rather just have like
Like at the
somebody that's
set,
like
they're in the corner of the stage, just
yeah, I'm like, no, get up. Honestly, because you be getting up there on the stage. So I
thank
freaking
you.
love that. Like you get like crazy good shots because of it, you know, and then you're down. So like I
I know
like
I just saw your Spotify today and it had my picture on there.
yeah, I had to. I had to use those photos. They're so
Fire.
good. But
Thank you.
you know, I like people like that that are kind of like you like go getter. Like I'm gonna go do this and it's gonna be freaking fun. I love that because I used to do photography back in the day too, and I used to be a roaming photographer for parties. And so yeah, I would like, you know, get
And-
pretty fucked up and just be in there, you know what I mean?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, so I kind of like that vibe. There's like other like formal stuff, like, you know, when people ask to do photo shoots and stuff, and I kind of lean more towards like film. So I like to work with a lot of film photographers. Mm, but yeah, I think it just for me it is like a vibe like kind of situation. I think for the guys too, like my bandmates also are like that.
I think like the best advice like that I've seen, like this one photographer, I don't know if you've heard of her, CJ Harvey. She
Mm.
she took the cover photo for Charm
Oh, okay, yeah,
for
yeah.
Clairo.
Mhm,
And she does work with Dijo, and she's like the Maria's Road photographer.
mhm.
And a lot of people ask, like the boring questions like what do you shoot on, blah blah blah. And like like how do you get these people to work with you? And her answer, which I've always said to people, is like just be someone that people want to hang around. Because like the
100%.
photo is like literally a millisecond of X amount of time that you spend with somebody, whether it's one night or a tour, which is like,
Hmm.
a couple weeks or months.
That's
So to any
that's
photographers watching, that's what I would recommend. Just Vibe. Your photos can, somebody loves you, dude, you'll be on that tour.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm not telling you the vibe, especially like getting candid photos and all that. It's like you don't want the band to just be like, oh, do you want us to like, how do you want us to stand? You know what I mean? Like you want someone that's gonna be taking pictures when like someone's spilling the drink or something. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, or like, yeah, behind the scenes, or yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like just be a homie. Just be a homie and be in there with the camera. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's kind of how I see
So, every band is different. I know a lot of beginner bands. Like a lot of them just like the fisheye, right in your face, super bright flash, and then they're like, right.
it.
Some of them like, the super grainy black and white stuff. Like, how do you think your taste in photography has changed being in a band, but more importantly, like more, I would say more of a punk band, or however you would label your band as. Because it'd be different
Mhm.
than, let's say cigarettes after sex or
Yeah.
a band like that.
Yeah. You know what? That's the one thing, like, I feel like with our with Young Atita, we haven't really like put too much emphasis on like visually how our like yeah, I guess like image like our image wise, like what we tend to go to. Maybe that's a fault of ours. I'm not entirely sure. But I personally like I like to show how we look like in real life, I guess you would say. So like the photos, like not to totally like just talk about you, but
No,
the
let's
photo
talk. I love talking about me.
okay,
Let's
all right, okay. Like the photos that you take and stuff, like I love those because like that's literally what we look like on stage. You know what I mean? Like I would rather show that rather than like something where we're all like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we have to take photos like photo shoots and all that, but where we're all tidy and like people see us posed, or how you're saying like really close on your face, like it kind of what do you call it, like uh
recording.
it like basically like blows out your face or whatever, like that's cool and all, and it's artistic, but I think like the more that we grow as a band, I love my live performances. Like I love us as a band and how we perform live. I think that's our strong suit when it comes to performing, like, or when it comes to the band in general. Playing live is like our strong suit. So I kind of want to have that image, or I guess like that's the what do you call it, the visuals that I want to have, you know what I mean? And the more accurate it could be, the better, I guess you would say. So that's kind of like how I haven't really, with this band, we haven't really done like too many photo shoots, or yeah, like kind of like we've done a few here and there and I love them all, but I don't know, I just like, I guess I just like the way we look before we play a show, right after we play a show, and during the show, that's kind of more like the vibe that I tend to go towards.
Yeah, the best pose is no pose.
Exactly.
Organic.
Exactly. Yeah, anything
Right.
candid is
Yes.
more like my speed.
hmm
Mhm.
So what should a photographer not do when working with a band? Like if they want to work with, like, what should they not do?
That's a good one. What would piss me off? You know what?
You're taking a bite out of a burger and then phew.
No, actually, I like that. I think I think what I would hate the most is when, if like let's say we're hanging out backstage or something and we're all like having a good time and they say like, "Oh, do that again." I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna do it
Be
again."
ready.
I think that's like, okay, the opportunity was missed. I am not gonna stage it. Like unless we're having like, we're doing like, funny little like, I don't know, we're just being funny and silly, like, okay, sure. But to have me reenact something that was like a candid moment, like
hmm
I'm not gonna do that. You're not gonna make me do that. So honestly, there's not much a photographer could do that I think would piss me off. But I'm a pretty like lenient person. Like I'm a pretty passive person. Like everybody could just do their thing and I won't really care that much. But uh yeah, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I would just be like, ugh. Like, no, I'm not doing that again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna fake a moment that was, you're not gonna get that from me. So that's kind
hmm
of how I feel about it.
All right, well, that's pretty easy then. Well, my next question, what if you don't want to go into detail, it's fine, but what is the biggest disaster story working with a photographer or some media person?
Biggest
So
disaster
people can know
story.
not to do that.
Oh my God. I don't want to throw it's
You
because
don't
she's
have
the
to name
homie
names.
and she takes amazing photos. But
This random person.
yeah, I want to shout her out actually. Like she's a really awesome. Her name's Tamara.
Mhm.
Maybe she will understand if I say this. I hope she doesn't get mad at me. I love her and I love her photos. But don't forget your film. We had like a whole day planned for what do you call it? For like a photo shoot.
Mhm.
And she's really busy. And like I said, I'm pretty passive. So I'm like, I get it. Like I've been in that situation before too. So this is also coming from like my own experience is like, don't forget your film or batteries. Like always come prepared. Like make sure you get that shit the night before. Like always prep the night before. Um, she was coming, I feel so bad. She was coming all the way from Riverside and was already basically like in LA. Um,
Riverside is the IE, right? Like,
yeah, the IE, like it's like far. Oh yeah, it's like I guess heading towards like San Diego, or I guess like it's more inland, but it's like heading that way.
okay, I think I know where it
And
is.
yeah, and it's like an hour and a half, or like with traffic and all that, like it could be like an hour and a half driving. So she was on her way. It was like a Sunday that we had made this like this date, right? And she said, "Oh, I'm just gonna stop and get a battery for my film camera once I'm in LA." Turns out, literally every store that had that battery was closed early on Sundays.
Because it's Sunday, yeah.
And she was like freaking out. And I guess it's not really a disaster because, like, obviously we rescheduled and everything was cool. And like I said, I understand, and her photos are awesome. But yeah, I guess like in the sense of like even in my own experience when I've done stuff like that, I'm like, you know what? I would rather just like be like fully prepared, you know what I mean? Instead of like having to like kind of play it by ear and see if like the places that have your very specific like thing will actually have it. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
think especially with like film cameras and stuff like that, you can't really play you can't like it's such a niche thing still that you can't really like gamble with that. You have to actually just stay stocked.
I recommend every film photographer get that money spread of batteries.
Oh yeah,
Specific. Get that
she
money
had like a
spread because you
very
never know
specific
who's gonna
battery.
have it.
Yeah. She had a very it was like a very specific battery. Like we were even like, oh no, we're not gonna find this today because we were like trying to figure out where we could get something. But yeah, that was recent. But like any other photographers, I don't think I've had ever like a bad experience. Like I love working with photographers. Like I said, I used to do photography myself. So I think I I don't know. There's very little things that could actually upset me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And in the case with like my friend Tamara, she's just more like that wasn't really a disaster, more so than I just felt bad too. I was like, I know
Yeah.
how that feels. I've been in that position
It
before.
happens, dog.
Yeah, it just
To
happens,
everyone. It'll be the smallest thing, like an SD card that will pop
dude.
up.
Always, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's always like the smallest thing, or like you thought you could charge it at the place, but then your charger doesn't work, and it's like, oh well, I'm gonna have to find this very specific like cable, you know what I mean, to charge my camera, but I don't have it, just stuff like that. I've been in that position so many times. So yeah, that's my advice.
You don't know until you're in that position.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's see, what's next? What would you like to see more of when working with photographers? What do you think a lot of photographers are lacking, whether it's punk photographers or even the posing ones, like you said, with film?
Huh, I don't know actually. I feel like there's so much stuff out there that even if I say I want to see more of it, maybe there already is, and I'm just like not privy to it. Um, yeah, I
What do you
don't
wish
know.
would find you?
Wait, what?
What do you wish would find you?
You know what? You know what? I think I got one. I think I got one. Flash photography, like on the stage, but that's film. I kind of want to see more of that. With like the film attachments, or like the camera flash attachments. But I don't know, maybe there already is that. But I love film. Like I do love film. Like it's pretty much like I have so many film cameras here, like in my house right now too. And like I love film photography. So I want to see like, those where they have like an adapter and you attach the flash to it and you have your film camera out. I want to see more of that like on stage, like catching people moshing or like crowd surfing or something like that, like with those types of cameras. Um, that would be cool. I'm pretty sure it's been done, but I just want to see more of it. You know what I mean? Um, let me see what else, like maybe pose wise or stuff like that. Um, I don't know. I kind of want to see also like I love when people dress up in photo shoots. Like I think that that's awesome. Like kind of like more campy, like like people that have like an era. Like I want to see more photography that focuses on that. You know what I mean? I think that would be cool, like for local bands and stuff. I like that a lot. I like to dress up with like my funny little hats and stuff like that, my hoods and my hats. And you know what? I should probably start doing that more too, like having more photo shoots with that involved. So I would say like just more creative like shoots. But I don't know. What do you think like as a photographer? Sorry to turn it around on you, but what do you want to see more? I would value like your input.
I'll tell you what I would love to see less. Fisheye, flash, slow shutter photography. I think it's
Oh,
very, everybody has their kind of phase
mhm.
figuring out like a slow shutter. I think you know what that is.
Yeah.
Um,
And I look where they catch like the lights like panning, right?
yeah, yeah, and then they like go like that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Or I think if that's like your only bread and butter,
Yeah.
I think we need to move on.
Yeah, for
Bro,
sure.
what would I love to see more of? I would love to see more photographers risk th themselves or their gear. Like a lot of times when I'm at a show, like for example, the show um where I took photos of you guys at in Pomona, the Glass House.
Oh yeah.
I always look at other photographers and I'm like, okay, what is everybody doing? And then what are they all not doing?
Yeah.
Okay, no one's in the pit.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put my big ass telephoto lens with Ophelia at the merch table, and I literally crowd surfed at your guys'
Yeah.
set, like
I remember
on
that.
top
You're
of the
crazy.
crowd.
Yeah.
Um, could that be a little extra, doing too much? I don't care. It's fun.
Yeah.
Um, I remember that night I had a Canon R6 Mark II, 15 to 35 2.8, and a Canon flash. That altogether was maybe like $6,000.
Oh
That if I
shit.
drop, like, I know you're not gonna pay for that, and I wouldn't expect you to, but fuck it. Like
Yeah.
someone I think especially in the punk scene, punk bands need punk photographers and
Yeah.
work work with your scene, I would say,
Mhm.
is something I
Mhm.
would love to see more. Um, Not everybody's style fits everybody's scene, and that's okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like kind of more active involved like photography. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I get a lot of people that send me photos of like us just kind of like standing on stage and like you could tell that they were just like, at the bottom, like over the railing, like just kind of like taking photos like that. I'm like, that's cool and all. But yeah, like ones like kind of action shots, you know what I mean? Where it's like how you're like on the stage or like crowd surfing, like and catching the crowd. I think that's another one too. It's like a lot of photos of like actually the crowd, you know what I mean? I like that. Um and I think that's just as much as part of the performance like as a band as, as the band. So like I think that stuff like, taking photos of like the crowd and all that is definitely something more that maybe I see a lot of people doing it too. So I don't know if I want to say I want to see more, but I appreciate when people do that. You know what I mean? Like I appreciate when people are in the pit and like actually getting like people's expressions and stuff like that. And then the band is like in the background. Like I kind of like that stuff too.
I think one more thing I would like to see is more drummer photos. Drummers never.
Oh my God. Dude, okay, you took the ones at the observatory and of Christian, our drummer. And dude, like I was like, this is the most I have ever seen somebody take photos of like the drummer. And Christian, like he always like, he usually like is the first to leave. He's the last to show up, first to leave. And so we never have pictures with him ever. But like with that show in particular, yeah, at was it Happy Daps? It was a Happy Daps.
Mhm.
Um, you got like a whole like set of like just him, and they were awesome. I freaking love that. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, I feel like even like as a photographer, you're not the main focus of an event, of a band, whatever. You're just like this weird like gray area. So, I can relate to just being like the dude in the back.
Mhm.
And I know the drummer like with all these things in front of him. I always try to get like
Yeah, like
in
a full scope.
between something.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, lastly, thoughts on working in LA is very notorious for slimy people and weird people in green rooms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
How do you navigate it? Photographer or artist, just someone trying to maybe not even be successful, just have fun in LA in this industry.
Like, how do I navigate like people who are like maybe don't have my best interest or anything like
Like
that?
navigating around that.
Yeah.
But sometimes like people like that even are the only way to get into X room or
Yeah.
X band.
I think the way that me and my bass player were just talking about this, like me and David were just talking about this. But I think us as a band, we kind of keep to ourselves. I kind of keep to myself, and not in a way where I'm like not friendly to everybody around me, but just because like I don't know other people, and there's been times where I'm like I'm cool with this person, and then that person ends up being like really scary for lack of a better term. I won't get into it. And it happens like in a scene. Not that it shouldn't, like not I'm not trying to say oh it happens, but like you know, I try to keep to myself and we just let the music speak for itself. You know what I mean? So we let the stuff that we put out there, whoever wants to fuck with us, they can fuck with us. And if they don't, well, I mean, we just keep like a tribute, like we just keep like providing music and art for our fans, you know what I mean? Or like people that like us. So that's kind of how I navigate it. That's not how everybody else navigates it. I know there needs to be like a lot of like networking and being cool with people that maybe you don't really like and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, I'm too old for that. Like I like you will know if I don't like you. And honestly, that doesn't really happen too much. Like there's not too many people that I dislike, but um you will know. And I just like I'm just not really like I'm courteous, but unless I know you really well, like how I know my bandmates or whatever, I kind of try not to get too involved. Like it's like a very like minimal, like kind of a very far away kind of friendship type of situation, right? um and I think that in itself kind of helps weed out people that don't have my best interest or my band's best interest or like stuff like that. And yeah, there I mean obviously you always there's times where like you know people butt heads with each other and stuff like that, but um even though this scene could be kind of gatekeepy at times, it doesn't really matter if like your music is good. People people will still kind of like you if your music is good. If you have the scene, like you're like the people who listen to you, it's like that's who you should care about, you know what I mean? Or like the people who want to support you and stuff. Like I think that that's like the best way to like kind of go about it, like to kind of follow. I don't know, this probably sounds so mean honestly, but like like kissing ass to people and stuff like that. I like to just have genuine like actual good connections with people, and I'm not going to be fake with you. I'm not going to pretend to like you or dislike you or like be mean to you because so and so or whatever. Like I just I meet you, you're cool, we're chill, that's about it. I'm gonna go do my music, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I look at it. And I don't know if that's like wrong to say. I don't know if other people feel the same way. um Let me see, I'm trying to think like the only the only thing where I would say that it's kind of like I personally haven't really experienced too much of this, but like the industry, like when you start getting to like industry level, that's when things start getting like a little complicated and you have to play by the game. But you don't really have to. Like your music will speak for itself. Like if you're making bangers and you're bringing people to the show, then like what does it matter? You still have your community there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah. And if you're not a terrible person, because if you're a terrible person, there's a lot of terrible people out there. But I also too like I like to speak up on that. Like I'll call some shit out if I see it, and what other people decide to do, that's on them, but at least, you said something or like you put your foot down or cost or like made a boundary, you know what I mean? That's I think important to have like in a situation like this in the scene.
In my experience, as someone who, like you said, like freelance, you just take whatever gigs you can. There's a lot of people who you might only work with once or twice or a
Yeah.
handful of times, and I see a lot of people try to take advantage of photographers, and to any photographers watching, like some advice I would give is just like that's just one gig. There's a lot more gigs out there. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people that like, and I'm sure you as a band too have heard this like, like play this one show or maybe just shoot this one show and if we like it, we'll hire you for the next and then we'll pay you next time.
Oh, hell no, dude.
That might not even be a scene you want to tap into if that's how it is in the beginning. There's so much more like the fact that thousands of photographers could live in LA and all make a living, like there's other work out there. There's other people
100%.
to hang out with. So don't,
Yeah.
even though you might love this to go down this one route, it might not
Yeah.
be a pretty one.
No, dude, yeah, like if you know you're good at what you do, like yeah, don't you can't do it for free. Like, and it's not about the money. Like that's another thing is that like I think people have this misconception of like, oh, like, it's about the money, whatever. It's like, well, first off, we need money to survive. Like I hate the idea of like money and currency. Like I would do everything for free if I could, you know what I mean? But I can't. Like, and it's a lot of effort, a lot of work. I mean, look at you talked about your gear and how expensive it is. Like, how are you gonna realistically pay stuff like that off? Like even with us, like in the band, it's like we meet up for rehearsals, we spend gas money, we like spend time and money recording songs and driving to the show and like buying our own gear and replacing cables. Like all of that is like it ends up it piles up and it ends up being like a lot of money that you're giving to, just to be able to again to play a 30-minute set. So it's not so much that like we're in it for the money. Like it doesn't really pay like that. But it is one of the things where it's like we need something for like the effort that we're putting in, and especially right now that things are really rough. It's like you shouldn't expect to have somebody work for free for you. Like it's but I think I feel like it's 2025. I thought we were beyond the exposure like shit. Like, oh yeah, I'll pay you an exposure. I'm like, what do you mean? Like,
Oh,
what
in
does that even
LA?
mean?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
We'll still try.
yeah, I like me personally, like I said, like I used to do photography and like I also, with my art and stuff like that too. I give discounts like to homies and stuff like that. And I'm pretty like, budget friendly. I don't try to charge people an arm and a leg. But I do think that because I come from that background, it's like I personally do anybody that I work with, I'm like, how much am I paying you? You know what I mean? Like I want to know, like basically like I want to pay for your services. I want it to be real for you. You know what I mean? For a lot of people who are starting out or maybe have never done it, or like even like David, my bass player, he does our videos and stuff. It's like, no, I'm gonna pay you. Yeah, like that's all work that you're putting in. Like like that's that I need to compensate you for that. And because I know how it is that people just kind of shove art aside and like, oh, but that's your hobby, or like, oh, you're doing it for the money then. And it's like, no, dude, you're doing it to survive. You know what I mean? It's a skill and it's a creative skill that you have. And if you can't do it yourself, then you get somebody who's good at it, which is like the photographers and the artists and all that. And you pay them because you can't do it yourself. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how I see it, right? And it's like,
I think LA
and
would be a better place with all these answers we're hearing today.
wait, what?
With like all the stuff we've been talking about and
Yeah.
like how you've been answering the question. I think like LA. That's not a lot of answers you would hear in LA.
Oh yeah.
Um,
No, yeah, the exposure thing is such bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, but every like artist that like works on their craft would know like not to take on anything like that. And even if you're starting out, maybe you could start off with like, kind of like beginner prices, you know what I mean? Like a photographer who's just starting, right? But it's like you still have to make it a point, like, no, like these are kind of like my rates. Um, and kind of work your way up from there. But yeah, I don't think I think that I think it's messed up for the other people to like be like, we'll pay you, well, just do this one and then we'll pay you later, or
and
like,
then
we'll
goes
pay you for the next one. Like that's no, in this economy, that cannot be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
lastly, we're on the Yungatita Reddit right now. Uh,
oh no.
one question from Chuti OG. Why doesn't the old gatita just absorb the young gatita? Is she handcuffed to this armchair?
I've I've seen that on Reddit because I recently like opened a Reddit account and I saw that and I was like, what does this mean? It's so cute though. Like, yeah, why not? Why doesn't the old gatita just absorb the young gatita? I don't know what they said, but I think it's cute. But I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Yeah, I was hoping for
Whatever,
something.
whatever they're thinking, they're onto
Maybe
something.
that was like an inside joke, but yeah. Anyways, Val from Young Gatita, thanks for the time. This was
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah,
A
thank you for
lot
having me.
of a lot of great information. Um, any singles coming out? I know one came out earlier this year in like
Yeah.
March.
Right now I don't have anything planned, but I think by the end of the year we will have something.
Mm,
So yeah. So yeah.
for sure. All right. Well, thank you for the time. I'm gonna end the recording.
Yeah, thank you.